Since independence, Nigeria's aim and aspirations in its national defense policy is to maintain peace with her neighbors, secure and defend its territorial integrity. With the principles of Afrocentrism and neighborliness, it is of no doubt that Nigeria does not like war. However, global issues have transcended maintenance of peace without viable economy, good governance, technology, and motivation, among which are becoming a challenge against Nigeria's defense policy. Without doubt, any country with lack of basic capabilities such as political, economic, industrial, and technology to establish strong national defense and security structures undoubtedly are a security risk. The importance of this is that the defense structure and policy must provide the necessary guiding principles to national priorities. It is important that the security policy of Nigeria must not lack these basic capabilities so as to establish a strong defense and security structures that will prevent Nigeria to be exposed to threat challenges that could undermine its independence and development. The choice of Nigeria's conventional defense strategy can be seen from its historical evolution. Defense policy to military preparedness is a vital ingredient to national security and defense. The concept of national security falls between two extreme views: security to be achieved through the unconventional matrix by the application of force through military effort as a strong agent of deterrence, or the conventional defense strategy through diplomacy, dialogue, good governance, and defense strategy to defend its territorial integrity. The defense policy of a nation is an embodiment of its foreign policy. What is paramount to these policies is national interest, and these interests vary as mentioned earlier. These interests embody the security of its citizens and its defense capabilities, and of course against external aggression. Today on Policy Focus, we will bring you issues surrounding Nigeria's defense policy and the role of security agencies in industrialization, energy security, and climate change. Thank you for joining us once again. I am Chana Ejoga. You are welcome. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Policy Focus. Now onto our program. The National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPSS, organized a week-long defense lectures known as Defense Week to discuss the role and contributions of security agencies towards addressing key issues around industrialization, energy security, and climate change in Nigeria, which is in line with current challenges and issues that have arisen due to climate change globally. Let me inform you that the theme for the Senior Executive Course 45 for 2023 is Industrialization, Energy Security, and Climate Change. As expected, all security organizations and agencies were present to make their own contributions from their own perspective, pointing out significant roles their respective agencies may or can play in actualizing industrialization, energy security for the country without undermining the climate change effect. The Nigerian Army, Navy, Air Force, Nigerian Police Force, NIA, DSS, NDLEA, Nigerian Immigration Service, Nigerian Customs Service, NSCDC, Defense Intelligence Agencies, Correctional Service, Federal Road Safety Corps, and a host of other relevant security agencies were present. We will now bring you some presentations and interviews at the event.
Major General EAP Odiande, who is the Chief of Defense Intelligence, to present a paper on industrialization, uh, on energy, and um, the role of Defense Intelligence Agency. Defense Intelligence Agency, as an intelligence agency, has a spread all over the country, where our officers and men are spread and across Nigeria, as a matter of fact, for intelligence gathering and intelligence dissemination. Um, we collaborate with other agencies and in ensuring that the Nigerian environment is safe. We also ensure that we create that enabling environment for those in the energy sector to work, and it is all about true collaboration. In terms of training, the the college last week graduated 45 advanced intelligence officers from the college. These advanced intelligence officers are now groomed on intelligence analysis mostly, and it will add impetus in our intelligence output and intelligence contribution to the security agencies and other sectors that really need our services. We have policies, we have security policies in place. What we need is ensuring that those policies permeate to all levels: the tactical, the operational, the strategic is actually the ones coming up with those strategies, but ensuring that every element, every segment of our of our deployment, they are aware of what we are doing. And also we need to educate the Nigerians on what is expected of them. National Orientation Agency has a lot of work to do. I think that is one agency that should, in collaboration with Ministry of Information, to be out there educating people on what policies that are coming out and how it affects the people. So if they do not know, it becomes more of theoretical. You understand? So that is one of the things I feel that we should do more, ensuring that policies get down to the grassroots. It is not all about formulating. There are so many policies that are out there, but how do they get to the grassroots? I'll give you an instance. A lorry carrying food from Plateau State to Enugu. It is important that the security agencies on the road understand the importance of that food they are carrying. That a further delay of these foods getting to the final destination is also contributing to food insecurity in the country. Some of these people come up and their food is rotting on the way. So that man at the checkpoint may not understand the need for that truck to get to the final destination. Do you understand what I mean? So that is one of the things that we require to do. Preaching the gospel, making sure that everybody understands the importance of getting every aspect of policies put in place by the government, at all levels for proper implementation. So you can fine-tune policies to meet the ever-evolving challenges. Yes. But I can tell you, if we implement what we have and fund what we have and be truthful to them, I think we will achieve a lot. We have our own staff that are already undergoing studies in NIPSS. So it is a way of collaborating, information sharing, training, and then I also came here today to deliver a lecture. It is one of those ways that we can collaborate and work together in ensuring that the Nigeria environment is protected. Defense Intelligence Agency has their staff all over the country spread. The college where I superintend over, is in charge of training. Now, the institute, when it comes to teaching of the participants, let it not all be theory. Let this institute start holding seminars and workshops where stakeholders at different level will come down here to hear it, to know what is expected of them. You are not a security agent, you are just an institute. So you tell them what they want to hear. They want to do their papers, but find time. If you have all the agencies, all the stakeholders that have sent their participants here, let us organize workshops, seminars that will permeate to all the levels, for proper implementation of the policies that will come up. I'm not against policy formulation. I am saying that policies formulated must be understood. I want to tell you something about energy, climate change. Somebody drops polythene bag. You take sachet water and you drop the polythene. I have lost cows in my farm because my cows they eat polythene bags, and at the end of the day they have indigestion problem and I lose them. But if the man on the street knows the implication of dumping polythene bag randomly or anywhere he likes without doing proper disposal of polythene bags, he will not understand that he's causing harm to food insecurity. Look at the when you get to our coastlines, you will see polythene bags litter all over our water lines. And what happens? Because of tidal movements, these polythene bags, are sucked in by our vessels. You understand? And what is the result? Some of they cause mechanical damages to our warships and to even the commercial merchant ships. You understand? And when those ships are down, it impedes on our revenue generation in the country. It impedes on our operational successes, and availability. So until you begin to carry out that message and tell the man that is disposing this polythene bag, this water bottle, that look, you cannot do that. Somebody must get there at the grassroots. So whereas we can formulate anything, but we must ensure that we have implementation teams that go out to get this message across to everybody. And by so doing, we will mitigate most of the challenges we are having. One thing I can tell you with the team of service chiefs we have, look, they operate as a family. Collaboration, and collaboration. Teamwork. And once you get that, the result is what? Operational successes. You can even notice that, maybe some pockets of untoward occurrences we have had within some weeks ago. The security situation has really improved. people can travel from point A to point B now. The issue of kidnapping has reduced. So it is something that started over years, and now we are tackling those challenges. By the grace of God, we are on it. The armed forces and other security agencies are on it, and I can assure you, with positive response that the present regime is also given to issues. Issues are tackled as they come. It is positive. It's cheering. It's cheering. If you check, whatever comes up now attention is given to it.
In my first week in office, I announced to members of the public that my administration is going to restore the mobile police force to its original duties. I intend to create a special squad known as the Special Intervention Squad out of the PMF. This squad will be specially trained, specially kitted, specially motivated. They will be housed and be ready for deployment at shortest notice. They won't perform the traditional duties of guard duties, escorts duties, and so on. They will just be on standby and ready to be deployed to crisis area. Anywhere there is crisis in Nigeria, we have a squad that is ready to move to that crisis zone and restore peace. So that's what we intend to do with the Special Intervention Squad that we are establishing. Okay. We have started recruiting into that squad, and very soon training will start. We might not be able to do it simultaneously in all the states of the Federation. Therefore, we have decided to pick some states as pivot states. Yeah, so depending on the availability of fund, you know that.
The agenda for us for immediate implementation has to do with the state of insecurity in the state, especially Plateau State. And I wish how the state government can formally and quickly institute the law for the purpose of arresting prosecution. Because sometimes when these criminals are arrested, the livelihoods of prosecution can have to go further. The state, as I said, is ready with the issue of insecurity, kidnapping, gun running, and all other forms of criminality you can think about. So the immediate agenda, I think, for me, I would suggest an immediate implementation of setting up a special court where these people criminally arrested can easily be prosecuted.
I'm representing the CGC, the acting CGC of the Nigerian Customs Service, who is Bashir Adewale Adeniji, MFR. The agenda for immediate implementation as it stands now concerns stakeholder engagement. By stakeholder engagement, we mean both stakeholders within and stakeholders outside the Customs Service. You might wonder what I mean by stakeholders within the Customs Service. We want to draw heavily from the wealth of experience of our retired officers. The new CGC wants to make them an important block that we can reach out to, we can relate with, and I can freely discuss what the challenges that there are with the management of the Nigerian Customs Service. That is one. The new management also wants to draw heavily from the use of technology. We have decided that in the current situation, with all the challenges we have, you cannot shy away from the massive deployment of advanced technology. And in this regard, we are looking at improved ICT. We are looking at deployment of unmanned area vehicles, UAVs, or what some people will refer to as drones. The technology in that regard keeps improving, and we'll try to make best use of advancing technology in that area, and use of other forms of artificial intelligence to mitigate the crime of smuggling, especially in the black marketeering of small arms and light weapons. The word security seems to be on everybody's plate, not just that of the Nigerian Customs Service, and not just that of other security agencies, but on every plate of the average Nigerian citizen, especially the concerned citizens. And right now, I must say, we all have so much on our plate. And I would like to say this. Policy formulation, by my understanding, has never truly been the problem. The challenge has been the implementation of such policies. At the formulation stage, it's close to perfect. But we start having hiccups at the implementation stage. So the question is, what should we do? I believe we should have a potpourri of existing policies, including those that have been relegated to the background. Do a re-evaluation, do a reassessment. Pick out the very good ones and see how best we can get them implemented. The focus this time should be different. Different because the world has moved on, and this they have done, and this it has done at very top speed. So the implementation of such policies would obviously require a different focus. It has to be implemented in many different dimensions, considering the change in the face of in the face of security challenges, the change in technology, and even in the change of the socio-cultural environment of Nigeria. I believe an average Nigerian is almost getting confused, almost losing trust in security agencies. So there has to be a social re-engineering to correct that. And this, I believe, the new management of the Nigerian Customs Service, ably led by the Comptroller General, Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, is not only focused to achieve, but is determined to get the job done. And I believe with the experiences so far and the strides taken so far, we are moving in the right direction.
I am here to represent my boss, the Commandant General, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Dr. Ahmed Abubakar Audi, MNI, OFR. The first agenda is to ensure that the mandates of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps is effectively protected, that the money being paid to the personnel of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps by the hard taxes of the income earners is not in vain. To effectively go about our duties, which include protection of critical national assets and infrastructure, ensuring that these infrastructures are effectively protected. We all know that Nigeria, for now, has a very great dependency on oil, and anything that affects the oil now in the way of stealing of this crude will adversely affect the economy of the country. Secondly, the aspect of protection of the farmers and herders, most especially in the northern region. We have a very strong stake in that area to ensure that the food produce in the country is not adversely affected. Because when these farmers are not allowed to go about their business of farming and cultivating crops, it will adversely affect the food supply of the country. And other activities to make sure that we go about our duties. The Safe School initiative is being driven by the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, being the coordinating lead agency. The responsibility saddled to our agency. We are trying as much as possible to ensure that we effectively coordinate other agencies so that our schools will be safe and the children will go about their schooling business. Nigeria, as far as we are concerned, does not need any new policy directive. The only thing we need is to strengthen the existing policies to ensure that the agencies responsible for effective coverage of these policies are empowered and strengthened enough. With the policies on ground, I think Nigeria will be a better place. It will be a safe place where everybody will have his peace.
I'm here on behalf of the Controller General of Corrections, Hale Runababa, FICMC, excuse me, MFR, MNI. Upon assumption of office, he felt that he should bring his wealth of experience to correctional service and impact the welfare of both the inmates and staff, and at the same time see how we can secure those in custody so that the security network and apparatus of the nation will also be enhanced. It's not everybody that find themselves in the correctional centers are guilty of what they are accused of. Don't forget that some persons are also there waiting trials and they are considered innocent until proven otherwise by a court of competent jurisdiction. And these are human beings. They needed to be treated as human beings. And that is one of our missions, to keep them in secured and humane condition. So that's part of the thing that is driving his administration, to make sure that our inmates are kept in humane condition, to make sure that they appear in court as at when due, so that justice will be fast-tracked on their own pedestal, to say that nobody stays in custodial centers more than necessary, so that they should have access to justice, and at the same time say that while they are in incarceration, they should learn a skill that will help them upon release to be beneficial to the society, to avoid recidivism or to avoid reoffending. Anybody that leaves custodial facility should not go back there again, but should come out better than he went in. That's part of the policies that is driving the Controller General of Correction. He is also on the driving seat to see that staff welfare is also ultimately pursued, both in the areas of promotion, housing, in the areas of kitting, and all areas of training and capacity development as well. Nigerians should expect something that they have not gotten in the last few years. It's going to be quick. The synergy is faster now. We have targets on how to decongest our facilities. The Controller General of Correction is working assiduously to meet with other stakeholders to see how do we fast track inmate incarceration. He's meeting with the Governors Forum to see how can you assist in this area of condemned inmates on death row. Is meeting the Chief Justice of the Federation and the Judiciary as it concerns congestion in our facilities and awaiting trial issues. He's also meeting some NGOs that also come to assist in one form or the other. He's also meeting some civil society organizations and faith-based organizations to come over to Nigerian Correctional Service so we can talk and see how we can make the place a better place, because these people are human beings.
Well, one of the most critical policy that we put in place on the assumption of office of the Corps Marshal was to redress road traffic crashes by 5%. We picked a cue from the United Nations global target that looks at a 50% reduction in the space of 10 years, and we thought that we can work at a 5% reduction, and that is our focus. And already within the first half of the year, from the review we did, just by the end of August, it shows that we are certainly on course, and we are hopeful that with the support and collaboration of other agencies, we'll be able to hit the mark. Well, I believe that NIPSS, in his role to project a better society, can segregate some of the contending issues when it comes to road transportation. We're just discussing right there in plenary, and we're looking at the issues regarding haulage, transportation in the country. That's one section that NIPSS can do a deeper research into, because what we require now are research findings that we use as data to drive government support and to get private partnership in achieving the mandate of the Federal Road Safety Corps. If every Nigerian, whether you are a pedestrian, whether you are a car owner or a transporter, if we attempt to promote responsible driving, I can assure you that we can record crashes in a year without one death, and which is what the UN is preaching. That let there be crashes, but no death should be recorded. So that's my charge to road users. But for what they expect from us is our continuous commitment towards ensuring that we hit the target we have set for ourselves as an agency of government.
Keep watching.
Keep watching.
Keep watching NIPSS Policy TV.
name is Navy Captain Andrew Zidon, and I shall this morning be discussing the Nigerian Navy's role in foreign policy and diplomacy. Navies worldwide generally have standardized roles. A maritime strategist, I think it was Ken Booth, that characterized these roles into three, namely military, policing, and diplomatic. Under the military role, the Navy's role largely consists of projection of force function as well as balance of power function. For the policing role, the functions of the Navy are Coast Guard duties largely, as well as nation-building functions. And then critically, which is the main discussion today, is the diplomatic role. This role is concerned with the management of foreign policy, short of the actual employment of force. The functions of the Navy under this diplomatic role are largely negotiations from a position of strength. Some people call it gumbo diplomacy, as well as manipulation, though it might sound devious, but it's actually part of gumbo diplomacy, and as well as prestige. Prestige comes in the form that usually when a Navy is able to project power beyond its shores, it usually alludes to a sense of national power, technological progress, and general organization. With the examination of this role, it is pertinent to mention that the Navy is the only arm of the armed forces of any nation, and indeed in Nigeria, that is suitably placed for a diplomatic role. For instance, you can look at it from this way: the presence of army tanks or military aircraft in another country may constitute an act of aggression. But the visit of another country's warship is usually seen as a friendly gesture. We've seen it in many situations where foreign vessels have visited Nigeria, and it is not seen from an untoward way. The Nigerian Navy plays various significant roles in foreign policy and diplomacy. These roles include maritime security cooperation. The Nigerian Navy, as we all know, collaborates with other navies and maritime agencies in different countries to enhance maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea region and beyond. The Nigerian Navy participates in joint exercises. There have been several of them: Obangeme Express, African Nemo, largely to enhance maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea and beyond. It's involved in patrols with other countries, information sharing to combat piracy, smuggling, and other illegal activities at sea. This cooperation fosters good relationships with partner nations and contributes to maintaining peace and stability in the maritime domain. And to speak of that, recently we've had a lot of cooperations with the Benin Republic. This started from Operation Prosperity, where Nigerian Navy ships did joint patrols with the Benin Navy, largely to reduce incidents of maritime insecurity in the country. And that has also created or contributed to friendly relations between Nigeria and Benin Republic. And this has been replicated across the Gulf of Guinea with countries such as even Cameroon, Ghana, Togo. We also engage in regional security partnerships such as the Gulf of Guinea Maritime Collaboration Forum. This brings together naval forces from different countries to address common security challenges in the region. Through these partnerships, the Nigerian Navy establishes strong diplomatic ties with other countries and promotes coordinated efforts in maritime security. And now to naval diplomacy. The Nigerian Navy conducts naval diplomacy through ports visits and goodwill visits to foreign countries. For instance, in my previous job, I was the commanding officer of Nigerian Navy ship Ekulu, and I was dispatched by the Nigerian Navy and indeed the government of Nigeria to represent the country at the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the Ghanaian Navy. It was an opportunity for us to host key stakeholders in the country to cocktails on board the ship, and they provided opportunities for naval personnel of my crew to interact with their counterparts, engage in training exchanges, which helped to foster mutual understanding. Several of these diplomatic visits have happened across from 2000s when we attended the Trafalgar 2000 celebrations in the UK, as well as sometime in 2015 or 2014, where the Nigerian Navy attended the bicentennial celebrations in Australia. These platforms help to promote diplomatic ties, cultural exchanges, and cooperative agreements. Critically, the Navy is also, as part of the diplomatic role, we take part in humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. This started even from the 70s, where the Nigerian Navy, as part of the United Nations mission, provided significant aid towards in Lebanon, We're the only African country south of the Sahara that had that capacity, using ships like NNS Ambia and NNS Orpheum to provide relief to citizens of that country. This has happened also in Guinea-Bissau in recent times, where the Nigerian government has supported that country using the Nigerian Navy ship Kada that sailed there in 2022 to provide relief and support to the state. These activities help promote Nigeria's commitment to international cooperation and goodwill, and enhances our international standing. This flows from the last conversation with regards to international peacekeeping. The Nigerian Navy deploys personnel as part of multinational peacekeeping forces to conflict zones across the world. These deployments, they contribute to the maintenance of peace, security, and stability in various regions. They also demonstrate Nigeria's commitment to international peace and security, strengthens diplomatic relations with other nations. Overall, the Nigerian Navy's role in foreign relations and diplomacy focuses on enhancing maritime security cooperation, regional partnerships, naval diplomacy, humanitarian assistance, and peacekeeping operations. These efforts contribute to Nigeria's positive image on the international stage and fosters mutual understanding and cooperation with other countries. Thank you so much.
Keep watching.
Keep watching. Keep watching NIPSS Policy TV.
The government can use technology to address the deficiencies we see at the border because of how porous and the level of corruption where we find ourselves as a country now, as a nation. I think we need to move beyond the humans manning it alone. Government needs to introduce technology to bring transparency to that operation.
It's only in Nigeria that the president appoints both chief judge, both the control general of the border, customs, and all what have, even the edge of police. So he has what it takes as the in command, chief in command, the army forces. He has what it takes to change the system if there's the political will there.
Equip the military, which is a soldier. The Boko Haram cannot carry a sophisticated machine more than the people that are going to war against them, being our soldier. Right equipment should be deployed. Integrity of the person you are sending as a security defense should be intact. And if that is in place, then definitely we're going to get the best out of them.
Keep watching.
Keep watching. Keep watching NIPSS Policy TV.
Today we'll be looking at the Alumni Association of the National Institute, which is the umbrella body for all graduates of the Senior Executive Course of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPSS Kuru. Today we have the president of the association, who is Ambassador Emmanuel Obi-Okafo, MNI. It is a pleasure to have you, sir.
Thank you very much.
So, can you tell us what was your experience as a participant?
It was quite very inspiring. I was here in 2007, Sec 29, and it was quite an experience when you have about 60 members drawn from several institutions across the country at the topmost level of their career, stay 10 months together, considering that JOS also was a very hospitable environment then. I'm still in touch with all my mates. In short, we have a platform, we call ourselves Namu Namu, our own. And we produced a lot of persons who are in the various key policy-making decisions in the country. Coming together here was quite a very good experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So you said each time you come back to NIPSS, which means you've been coming frequently.
Yes.
Is there anything that has changed for you, despite the nostalgic feeling?
Yes, a lot has changed. I can't find my way around NIPSS any longer. Wow. 2007, when I was here, there were not quite so many buildings. The hostel was not there. The new director of studies edifice was not there. So a lot has changed. Even when I was here in June, when we came for the AGM, we turned the sod for the new building. And surprisingly today, it's almost getting completed. Yeah. A lot has changed, and it's positively anyway.
Yeah. So can you tell us, how did you become president of the association of ANI?
Yeah, well, it's quite very interesting. There was an AGM on the 24th of June, just about 3 months ago. And I also would like to put it on point that I was the former vice president.
Wow.
I was the vice president for one term under former IGP, MD Abubakar. So I was groomed. And of course, taking over from the mantle was not very difficult because I had been a vice president before. I wouldn't say it's the first time a vice president became a president, but I'm only saying that it was an election that I overwhelmingly won to the glory of God.
So can you tell us the processes? What does it really take? As in, what are the criteria? What are the processes that you had to undergo to become, before you emerged as president?
Yeah, you must have commitment. I can tell you that when I left NIPSS in 2007, I had been very active in all NIPSS affairs, especially the Alumni Association Abuja chapter, where I'm still a member. I can tell you that 2008, I was appointed a member, secretary of the Foreign Relations Committee under General Ike Nwachukwu. And all throughout the period, I had participated in various alumni functions and activities. I had been a member of the Lands Committee. I've been the chairman of the Policy Innovation Committee. I've been the deputy chairman of the Security and Defense Committee. So I had been very active. And probably in the recognition of all this, my overall performance and my engagement with ANI affairs, I have even hosted Abuja chapter to a meeting. Wow. I funded the meeting to show you that I love ANI. And due to this passion, I was overwhelmingly voted for.
That's good. It's a very interesting procedure and process to hear. And then what I really liked about what you said is the level of commitment, which means it also comes with consistency.
That is true.
So I want to also ask, have there been any pressure arising from the narrative that ANI is an elitist group? And what is your reaction to that?
Well, ANI is actually an elitist group if we're to look at it from that perspective. Because before, there are certain qualifications and criteria before you can become or participate in NIPSS. You must be a director in any of the federal government establishment, or you're a permanent secretary from the states. And for the states, you have only an opportunity of once every 4 years. So participants of ANI are carefully selected because they're expected to give back to the system what they have learned within the next 10 years. And if you reflect on those who have ruled this country, or those who have performed at a high level in this country, dating back to 1979 when NIPSS was established, you find them in the molds of President Ibrahim Babangida, you have President Abdul Salami, you have all captains of industries, you have top military and police and security service chiefs. They've all passed through ANI. So for those who claim ANI is an elitist organization, they're not far from the truth, because not everybody attends NIPSS. Only carefully selected personalities who are expected to give back. You can only give back if you have the ability to absorb. Thank you.
So as president of ANI, what dreams do you have for Nigeria and the Institute?
Yeah, you find that the principal motive of establishing NIPSS is to be a policy bedrock for the country. Our dream is that we shall develop to the point that we can make good policies for government. You find that recently, some Nigerian governors went to Rwanda when we have NIPSS. NIPSS has the potential to provide all that we need for this country. And from 1979 till date, NIPSS has churned out several policy papers. A lot of them have been implemented by government. He said, we don't like going around beating our chest that, oh, this policy is from NIPSS, this policy is from NIPSS. Virtually, government listens to NIPSS. That is why the Office of the Vice President is in charge of NIPSS. And every year, government gives us themes for study and research for government. So my dream for NIPSS is that we'll continue to focus more on policy making for government, and that it will get to a point that government cannot do without NIPSS. So far, we have had wonderful cooperation from government, and NIPSS have lived up to its expectation.
So can you tell us, you've said a lot of things that is inspiring about NIPSS. Are there any challenges that the association is going through, and how are you handling it as the president?
Yeah, every organization has challenges. We are worried that NIPSS is not properly funded, and we have embarked on a lot of advocacy on policies issues that have been churned out from NIPSS to enable government to implement some of them. So these are some of the challenges that the government need to look more inward towards funding NIPSS to be able to carry out the mandate for which it was established. Other countries, you have endowment fund running to billions of dollars. And as ANI, we want to partner with NIPSS in this regard. Recently, the DG has launched an endowment fund. We are going to key into this project and attract eminent ANI members and other organizations that have interest and who are stakeholders in ANI and NIPSS to key into this fund, to be able to make NIPSS independent, to be able to carry out all the projects they have in mind, wonderful projects that are being constrained by lack of funds. So we intend to embark on several advocacies to make sure that our policies and the research output from NIPSS are implemented and used by government.
Thank you so much for your time. We're honored to have you on Alumni Chat.
New, it's fresh. It's all about policies and strategies. Watch out for NIPSS Policy TV programs on NTA News 24. Tune in on Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. on DSTV Channel 419, GoTV Channel 26, Star Times Channels 101 and 433, and Free TV Channel 703. Miss this and miss out on policies that will affect you and our country. Join us.
In conclusion, the federal government, through its security agencies, has the capability to successfully defend the Nigerian territory and her people with the implementation of policies and strategies on national security. Our defense policy is meant to serve the natural interests of Nigeria, which contains the core values that involves the survival of the Nigerian society and its population, political sovereignty, and territorial independence. That is it on Policy Focus today. Thank you for watching. See you next time. I am Chana Ejoga. God bless Nigeria.